Today is SMaRteN's first conference. It's the culmination of a lot of hard work from our student research team to bring researchers from right across the UK together to talk about student mental health. We really don't know why we're seeing an increase in student mental health difficulties, or even if we really are. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence that suggests we are, but we don't have good research data to clearly show us that we're seeing that increase or to explain what that increase relates to. We can look at population data, which is helpful. That shows us that we have seen a substantive increase in mental health problems amongst young people across the country, particularly amongst young women. So given that, it's probably not surprising that we're seeing an increase in challenges amongst the university population. Exactly why we're seeing that change, though, is really for the network to answer. One of the best ways I think we can try and understand what questions need to be answered is to speak to students themselves. So at the moment, we're running a project called Key Questions, where we're inviting students right across the country to tell us what they want researchers to be looking at.
I think coming to university as an undergraduate student is a time of transition. There's a whole range of new kind of academic, social and economic challenges all at once. And at exactly that point, a lot of the protective factors that students have are kind of removed, whether that's been from the school they've been at or from their family or local area. So the combination of the two can make it a really challenging time.
This network is really close to my own heart. What we're trying to do here is look at changing the state of student mental health. And for me, my journey with this started when I was a student.
I found it really difficult to cope with the stresses of university life. I'd had problems before I went to university, but they got exacerbated there. One of the things I also realised as a student was that a lot of my peers were struggling, and it seemed to be something that nobody spoke about. Lots of us were struggling in silence and not admitting to each other that actually we were finding life really tough. Over the last decade, universities have done a lot to think more about how they support student mental health. And over the last few years, we're starting to see a really promising shift. We all recognise that the support services provided by universities, the counselling services, the mental health teams, the wellbeing teams are really valuable, and it's vital that they are resourced appropriately and that they can support the students they need to. But we also need to think beyond them and look at the whole institution. We need to think about health promotion. How do we stop students needing the support services? How do we intervene early to support them to look after their mental health before they need support? So we're looking at the whole university approach as it's been implemented in Cambridge University, looking at the charter that Student Minds have developed to help give other universities a framework for building a whole university approach. We've got conversations going on today looking at peer support and how students can support each other, and looking at pedagogy and assessment design, considering how the academics teaching students can perhaps change the way they teach to better support student mental health. If we can get the interventions right, if we can get the culture and the environment right in universities, there is an opportunity there to make this a space where students can really thrive.